Hey there everyone, Lord Frigid here with another episode of Aether Raid's Offense. I do apologize for being a day late with this one. Khorne's legendary hero battle took up a lot more time and effort than I was expecting, particularly for the Silica clear. For better or for worse, I can be a bit tenacious sometimes, and fortunately I was eventually able to figure things out. This video marks the end plus a day of another Astra season. My season turned out pretty well. I played a little carelessly on the last day, but everything worked out in the end. I really need to figure out a better way of timing the last match of the season at some point. Anyways, I've got a few maps lined up for today's video, so let's go ahead and get started. The first map is an infantry pulse setup on the lava terrain. The team is very honest, by which I mean there aren't really any dirty tricks with rallies or other assists here. I see two weaknesses with the map. The first is the narrow approach avenues. If you were to kick things off by baiting Brady on the right, and placed your units so that the other enemies went to the right as well, you could find yourself in a situation where only Brady is actually able to attack you. This is notable because he's easily the least threatening of the bunch. In fact, depending on your team's setup, it may be possible to have Altina take at least one enemy phase against him, so even if the Seer were to advance down the left side, she would still go down to Altina's vantage. The other weakness is the enemy's checkerboard formation. It's a little difficult to exploit this one, but it's technically possible to remove Duma and trap the remaining 5 enemies with just 3 units. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and send in the Galeforce team here. I will be taking advantage of the enemy's checkerboard formation to get a turn 1 initiation and trap the enemies. So I'm actually only going to be KOing Duma on the first player phase, which is kind of interesting. So I will need to reposition Eliwood straight up with Leif. Very important that I do this with Leif, because Leif does have 3 movement. So once I refresh him with Tethys, he does have the range to actually just walk right up in front of Brady. So once Eliwood activates his Galeforce off of Duma, I think I'm actually going to go ahead and smite Altina in here, see if I can test this trap, maybe avoid having Leif take the damage there. Altina does not at all mind taking bolt trap damage, since she gets into vantage range off of it. So let me go ahead and just trap the enemies in here. And then, let's see, how am I going to deal with this? I think so Tethys and Naga both have Wings of Mercy, so they can warp to either Altina or Eliwood. So I should be okay to take out Brady here. Then I'll have Leif take out Ninian as well. And after that, in order to keep the enemies trapped, I will kick off a Wings of Mercy chain. I'll just have, well actually let me take out Ninian first, and then we'll just let me just confirm that I've got all my ducks in a row on this. Don't want to make any slip-ups here, because slipping up here means that the enemies escape and kill every last one of my units, which is not a good thing. So break the healing tower, yeah, that should be fine. Then I can even, from that position, I can even just warp in both Naga and Tethys here, and I think I'll go ahead and do that. So Tethys can refresh so I can pick up the Aether Amphore, and then I'll have Eliwood break it. Even if I'd slipped up and had Eliwood break the Amphore, I could have warped Naga to his right and just hit him up with a smite to get the enemies trapped again. Let's see, Leif should be able to take out the Seer and the Aether Fountain here, since taking it down to Seer will get his Nyorun's Zeal active again. And then as for the rest of it, that Azura has Firesweep Bow. Actually, this should be fine. I think yeah, Naga can take out Kagero, and Altina can take out Azura. So that is a pretty straightforward finisher to this map.
It will be done.
Map number 2 is a space oppression setup with a restore trap element. Percival and Roy are used as the vanguards, which can be very threatening if you can't take them down before they gale force their way to your backline. There are a couple weaknesses, but they're somewhat situational. First, applying a penalty of some flavor to Roy will force Clarine to jump out in front of him to restore. From this position, you could bait her out instead of the melee cavalry, since she is significantly less threatening. On the flip side, if your team doesn't carry any penalties at all, you can drop a flyer, like Altina, on the left water tile to force Long to attack her and get the enemies moving. Mirabilis won't be able to keep up with the advancing cavalry. I'm going to go ahead and send in my Galeforce team for this map. I'll be doing a turn 1 hit and run initiation. Basically, I'm going to be taking advantage of the enemy Clarine's restore. Since Leif will be not KOing Percival, he'll actually be dealing a good chunk of damage, but he doesn't quite have the punch to finish the job, and because Tethys' Tamari applies debuffs to all the enemies, Clarine's going to be burning up all of her actions and also all of her refreshers actions on restoring up at the top of the map. So she's not going to be able to actually chase down my units once I've repositioned everyone to safety here. So I'm actually going to go ahead and have Naga kind of wander up the left-hand side. It might be useful to have her there in case I need her to grab the Aether structures. Not sure. We'll have to see how this plays out. Okay, that's pretty interesting. So right off the bat, I'm thinking Leif takes out Clarine. Oh wow, that's an exact KO. Alright, sure. And then he doesn't have Norn Zeal active yet, but I can refresh him with Tethys. And his next attack will give him that, as long as he's not attacking. As long as he's not attacking Percival. Since he's at full HP, Percival will reduce his special charge. So I can have him take out Sue, and then after that, I'll have him attack Percival. Now Percival's been death smoked, so between Leif, Eliwood, and Altina, it should not be an issue to take this man down. All right, a pair of 22s here. That's perfectly fine. And then, actually, I wonder if Altina can... Nope, she can't. Okay. Eliwood should be able to, though. That's fine. And then, let's see here. Do I want to leave Eliwood in range of
You have my trust.
Guess I might as well. I mean, she's definitely not going to kill him. Unless he's secretly a dragon and nobody ever told me. So she does deal a pretty decent chunk of damage to him, but that's okay. Mirabilis should just advance here. And in fact, actually, it's probably better that I let her do that, since now he does have Galeforce at 1 charge, so I will be able to just have him activate that by attacking Laurum. I don't think there's any way I can trap her. Yeah, no, that's probably not a good idea, so I'll just take out Laurum, and then I'll have to deal with Mirabilis being alive. And in fact, Leif might actually be able to handle some attacks from her. Though, yeah, I guess technically with this situation, it's not that relevant. I'm in a pretty good position to actually just take the Aether Amphora here, and then finish the job. Today's final map is a Cav line on the Springwater terrain. There's a restore element with Nana, so that's also something to keep in mind. There aren't really any critical structural weaknesses here, but one thing I feel is important to mention is that you should keep restore in mind when planning an approach to a map like this. In this specific instance, applying a debuff to Veronica will make Nana jump out in front of her to apply restore, and then she'll get refreshed. And if you try to kick things off by baiting out Claude, she will likely attack instead, unless your unit is carrying Null Sea Disrupt. Hopefully it won't be anything earth-shatteringly bad, but it might cause a bit of an annoyance. Alrighty, Dragon Wagon should be able to handle this map. In fact, I'm pretty sure that Dune could tank these enemies for all eternity if she really needed to. So let me go ahead and kick things off. I will be baiting out Python. Since Nana does have Restore and she's going to be restoring Veronica, there's really no point in trying to bait out Claude, because even if I do that, Nana's just going to attack first because she doesn't die. So I'll go ahead and take Python, who is guaranteed to die, and I will have to see how these enemies choose to move and respond accordingly. So, as expected, Nana does use Restore and gets refreshed by Mirabilis. Python will go down to Idun. Poor man, hardly deals anything to her, and he actually full charges her Aether, so that's going to be really nice for an upcoming matchup. Let's see here. Okay, Claude's in a really nice position to be. I can either pick him off, or I can even just put Idun here. That should be fine too, honestly. Because Claude is in this position already, Nana's not going to be able to attack from that spot, so he is definitely going to be going down this turn. And then it's kind of up to the healers. Have to see what goes on there. I'll go ahead and hit end turn. So I should see another restore out of Nana, and then a refresh from Mirabilis. And she does attack first because her combat's prioritized due to not going to lose the combat. Oh, interesting. Claude actually does go ahead and attack Sothis. 225s does hurt, but Sothis will be able to heal off a good chunk of that damage. Although unfortunately, it looks like she's not going to be able to heal back to above half. which means that her Snow's Grace is not going to be active, so I'm going to have to be pretty careful when I play around that. Alright, Veronica also attacks Idun. I'm a little nervous about this bolt trap. In fact, I think I'm actually going to go ahead and pause real quick, take some thinking time, just evaluate how I want to deal with this situation.
You have my trust.
What can I do?
I'll do my part. Yeah!
This way?
Alrighty, after a bit of number crunching, I actually made the determination that Gunthra is able to take down Veronica. So I'm going to go ahead and have Idun break this healing tower. She will deal with Leif on the enemy phase. Then Gunthra can attack Veronica. And after that, Naga does actually have the punch to deal with Nana. Unfortunately, Altina's 2 strikes from Ragnar Elendite doesn't quite have enough damage to take her out. However, with Naga's Divine Fang active, this should be perfectly fine. Yep, that's a very easy 2-hit KO. Especially since Nana did not charge her miracle at all, since she did choose to attack Sothis on the last turn. I say did not choose to attack Sothis, but her combat was prioritized, and there were no spaces from which to attack Idun, so there was really no option. Alright, Leif, sorry. I'm not sure why I said Leif. Have I been saying that this entire time? That's embarrassing. Okay, Leif attacks Idun and goes down to her Aether. Now I just have to see how I want to pick up both the Aether structures. I guess I technically don't need to, since this is my last battle of the season. However, I think I should be able to get them both. Let me just have Idun retreat a space, then I can move Altina and reposition Idun out with Sothis. That also applies Armor March. Mirabilis is going after Gunthra. That's perfectly fine. I don't think I want to take a chance and see if she can take a hit. So let me just move her over here, break the Golden Deer flag. I'll pick up the Amphora on the next turn, and have Naga right behind so she can deal with Mirabilis afterward. No matter where she moves, Naga will be able to get to her, so this should be no problem. I can have Gunther take out the Aether Amphora, and then Naga can finish the job.
What is your desire?
And that is it. I hope you all enjoyed this episode of Aether Offense. I had fun using the Galeforce team despite the lower score values. Next time, we'll be back in Light Season, and I'll be running Minerva as my bonus unit since she already has a Light Blessing anyway, so there may be more Galeforce shenanigans coming up soon. Whatever the case, I hope to see you all again in a week, so thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time.